Hey guys, welcome to Watched Film Recaps. Today I'm going to explain an action Korean movie named The Villagers. This movie is about a former gangster and boxer who got a job as a high school teacher. Things takes a turn as he is now supposed to protect one of his students from an unknown killer. Before we start this video, I humbly request that you like and subscribe to this channel, as it was just created. Watched Film Recaps is aiming for 1,000 subscribers and more, so please, we ask that you help us get there as we bring you great content. Viewers, the names of these characters are hard to pronounce, so I have given them names that are familiar with us. The movie starts with a man called Joe. He is seen with a trophy and is walking towards some people. Joe furiously talks with the people as one of them stands to challenge him. It turns out that Joe is a boxer who had a match and lost, getting him the second place and the trophy in the process. We see that Joe's manager rigged the match behind back, and that is why we see him so angry. The man challenging Joe threw a punch at him. Joe dodges and counters with a liver shot, leaving the man in pain. He is seen in a car talking with his sister on the phone. She scolds him for hitting his manager and losing his license as a boxer in the process. She tells him that she has a new job for him in a nearby town. Joe gets to the entrance of the town and sees people painting on some posters showing missing people. He cleans the paintings on the posters and gets into his car. He realizes that his tires had burst and calls for a toll tow. The toll driver comes and they leave. Joe tries to make conversation with the man, but he doesn't respond. He arrives at his destination and meets an old friend of his, who is now a police officer. They talk to each other and talk about their previous days. Joe sees a commotion between some high school girls, and goes to stop them from quarreling. The girls give him attitude and he leaves. Here, we are introduced to our second protagonist named Cindy. Sarah, the best friend of Cindy, has been missing for months now without any trace. The police and people of the town have turned a blind eye to this situation, saying that she just ran away. Cindy, however, hasn't given up and is still making posters to find her friend. She goes to Sarah's grandmother's place to stay with her. A flashback is shown when Sarah was still around. She tells Cindy that she likes butterflies because they are free. She suddenly gets a call and leaves. We also see her meeting a car on a bridge in the middle of the night, and that was the last place she was spotted. Joe trains at home when he sees some thugs getting into their car. The minions of the thug boss torture a girl and calls their boss to tell him. Joe is seen in school with the principal talking about the fees of the students. Joe tells the principal that he used to be a debt collector, so taking the fees from the children will be easy. The principal introduces Joe to the staff, and they congratulate his arrival. He goes to the men's washroom and sees a male coming from the female washroom. He ignores this and goes to ease himself. He washes his hands, and a male teacher comes out of the toilet with a bad smell. He tells Joe to start taking the school fees when it's lunchtime, since all the students will be there. The students ignore him and he sees Cindy. He asks of Sarah from Cindy, saying that she hasn't paid her fees for a long time. This twists a nerve in Cindy, and she lashes out on Joe. Joe decides to go to the houses of the students to take the money from there. He sees a game and goes to play. Cindy sees him and is disgusted. Joe seems happy for winning. A politician named Grandpa is seen in public. Joe goes to listen to whatever he is saying. He sees Cindy leaving from the place and decides to follow her. Cindy follows a clue and ends up in the place of a gangster. The gangsters confront her and ask her to leave. She refuses to leave and Joe comes there. They also ask Joe to leave the place, but he says that he will be leaving with Cindy. The gangsters take Cindy's hand, and Joe tells them to let her go. The big guy among them attacks Joe, but he pushes him away very easily. Joe goes to free Cindy and they leave. They both get outside and ask a girl called Steph about Sarah. She denies any knowledge about her and asks for permission to leave. Joe drops Cindy off in the evening. After Joe leaves, a mysterious car comes behind Cindy and drives slowly past her. The car stops and a man with a headed figure comes out chasing Cindy. He pierces her neck with a glass and runs away when he sees Joe coming back. It turns out that Cindy had left her phone and Joe was bringing it back. Joe takes the unconscious girl to the hospital and a police officer named King comes there. Joe's friend, called John, also comes there. Joe talks to John asking him about the missing case of Sarah. John tells him that the family of Sarah has seen some papers, so the search for Sarah has even begun. Joe takes the papers for Sarah's grandmother to sign. He takes the papers to his friend the following morning before going to work. He greets his colleague called Senior. He talks with a lady, and she tells him that students always do run away from home, and some do it to pursue what they want in life. Senior approaches Cindy and has a chat with her. Joe sees them and ignores. He sees smoke coming from the girls' washroom, and goes to sack them. He mistakenly knocks down something and tries to fix it. He is shocked when he sees a camera fix over there. He takes the camera and goes to the principal's office. The principal asks him to sit down and starts to scold him for reporting Sarah's missing incident to the police. Joe hides the camera and decides to investigate himself. He goes home and checks through the video. He sees Senior, the art teacher, fixing the camera, and this dawns on Joe. He realizes that the man he saw coming from the female washroom was Senior. Joe goes to check Senior's laptop and sees that, on the day Sarah got missing, Senior was the last person she texted. Joe calls Cindy and asks her not to go out with Senior, and explains everything to her. It is too late as Cindy is already in Senior's car. She texts him fire location and Joe heads to the place. Cindy begins to ask Senior about Sarah. He gets angry and knocks her out. Cindy wakes up tied up by Senior. She sees Sarah's phone and then gets scared. Senior taunts her and hears someone outside. It turns out to be Joe and he punches the door, breaking it in the process. Senior tries to run and is punched down by Joe. Joe asks him about the night he took Sarah. He explains that Sarah called him to pick her up at dawn. When he did, someone called her and she asked to alight at a gas station. He left her but was feeling uneasy and came back. When he got the gas station, he found her phone in the washroom and took it. He further tells that, because he was an intern, he didn't bother to call the police. Just then, the police called by Cindy came to take Senior away. Joe talks to John to check Sarah's phone and he leaves. Cindy writes an article about Senior and Sarah's death, and Joe confronts her. She shows that she is not scared and leaves. King calls a gangster boss telling him about the new evidence. He also tells his boss named Grandpa, the politician. It is revealed that Senior's father is Grandpa, and has been covering for him all this while. Like, comment, share and subscribe, and I will upload the second part very soon.